John Weltman is the director of and founder of Circle Surrogacy in Boston, and he's a regular here at this event. So I thank him for making that trip again. And John.
Thank you, Terry. I just want to point out that when my husband and I of 25 years started this process in 1991, we actually turned to the center to get our information. And it was from here that we got the information about the only two agencies in the country, neither of which still exist, that were then working with gay men. I am actually a dad of two boys. My husband and I have one each through the same surrogate mom. They are 13 and a half and 12. And I've been running this agency for about 12 years. I would tell you that just as Melissa is also an agency, I am also a lawyer. And I agree with Melissa, it is incredibly important that whatever you do and however you go about this, you obtain both the agency services and the legal services involved, because there are enormous potential pitfalls along the way, and it's much better if someone knows the path. They can answer questions for you like that, and feel free to email me. I answer things even if you're not a part of my agency. My job here is to tell you a little bit about how agencies work, and there are other agencies on here, but I think that's the task I've been given today. We will be looking at many of the same women that you look at online. We'll be looking at advertisements we place regularly in Massachusetts, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and elsewhere. We will be responding to women who are friends of surrogates. We'll even be rescreening surrogates who've done it before in other programs and even in our own programs. But by the time we end that process, we are only picking 1 out of 30 of those women. And that is in part due to a myriad of facts. One that Melissa's already talked about is the state that they come from. They need to be a woman who's had a child. Do they have a support system? Those support systems themselves need to be screened and need to be supported. Is the husband going to be comfortable with her working with a gay couple? When we started this program 12 years ago, 1 in 10 women would work with us who wanted to work with a gay couple or single. Now I find 8 in 10 women were willing to work with a gay couple. A very intensive medical screening on these women and on their husband. All these factors, not the least of which are the insurance issues that come to bear. Is this a woman for whom I can say to you, she's got insurance that has no exclusion whatsoever, and you're comfortable? Because in my program, nobody's paid more than $5,000, and that's only happened once in 12 years. Generally speaking, if you want 100% security, there is the Lloyd's of London policy. But it's a $25,000 potential dollar option. That's a very expensive option, so we look for others. But it's our job, our names on the line, our liabilities on the hook to make that determination for you. In terms of costs, the costs vary between agencies. In our agency, we tell people that by the time you're done, not just with the agency, not just with the legal work, not just with the social work, not just with the doctor, but with everything, it should be between $100,000 and $110,000. Now that is telling you no one from my program yet has signed up with the Lloyd's of London process. So that's going to add another $10,000 to $25,000 if you were to do it. But so far we have been able to find alternatives or the surrogate's own insurance in every instance so far that's been satisfactory. But we do anticipate that this is going to be more of an issue, and for anybody who wants it, that's fine. The timeline for a typical GS tract. I like to tell people to be safe 1.5 years. The truth of the matter is I've had babies in my program within 8.5 months and a couple of 3 years. It's hugely dependent. It's dependent on how quickly you match. It's dependent on how quickly you get pregnant. And those are the two things on which I don't have real control. Part of it is about your personality and what you like and what you're looking for and how limited you are in what you're looking for. And part of it is about how's your sperm and how is the egg of the egg donor that you selected. I know that there's been discussion about the independent arrangement, and I am all in favor of people who have a special friend, who have a sister, who have anybody they know to do surrogacy for them. And I even think there are some websites that do a wonderful job from whom we ourselves find surrogates from time to time. But please follow Melissa's advice. If you're going to do that, even with a sister, follow the contract. The contract is the binding document. The governing law on this subject will tell you you don't have a tiebreaker unless you've got that agreement. You don't have a way to determine who gets the child unless you have that agreement. It is the key with both the donor and the carrier. It's very important. And screening and psychological support is hugely important. The other thing I would say is that we have come and do every month to New York for consultations. We have many New York couples who come to Boston for a consultation, but we are here on a monthly basis, and it allows for more of the personal stuff, because I think when we get into questions, people have very, very different issues, and it allows for that sort of thing. So if you'd like to, our table's in the back, then we'd be more than happy to fit you in.